All right, good morning. Welcome to, today's just gonna be a conversation, a vlog. Just wanna be talking about some of the things that I've noticed. A little bit about me. Most of my life, or adult life, let's say that, I've lived abroad and I've been abroad for about probably the past 14 years, where I lived in Europe, in the Middle East, Japan, and then back to Europe. And then my wife's British, and right around 2023, we decided to move back to the US. So I've been here for about 18 months. And yeah, it's been a huge culture shock since moving back. And I just want to highlight some of the things that, as an American who's lived most of my adult life overseas, I've just noticed since coming back. The number one thing that I've noticed is just, first of all, it seems like when it comes to, obviously this is the major thing that people like to talk about, and that's healthcare. And the healthcare system is just so confusing here. When I was overseas in different places of the world, everything made a bit more sense, and it was pretty straightforward. You paid your insurance, or you had national insurance, and you went into the hospital or to the doctor, and the insurance covered it. Same that happened obviously with the UK with the national health insurance. In Austria, Japan has a little bit of a subsidized system, but still you pay a little bit out of pocket, but it was like $30. And then Jordan was pretty straightforward as well. Coming back to America, nightmare. They take hundreds of dollars out of your pay account. I'm a teacher, so I get pretty good health care benefits. But even then, if you have a serious problem, you're still paying money when you go to the doctor, and that's just so weird to me. And my wife makes a joke, and she says that it's not health insurance, it's a health coupon. So when you go to the doctor, you're not actually, insured. You just get a nice little 50% off coupon that you hand over to the doctor. But nevertheless, obviously healthcare is talked about ad nauseum in this country, but that's a nightmare. And that's something that I was not prepared for when it comes to moving back to the US. I guess the second thing is just, I guess the food quality is big. The biggest thing for me is we'll buy a loaf of bread, and that bread will be literally in the cupboard for weeks, at least 2 weeks. And you look at the bread and it's not moldy. And everywhere we've lived over the past 15 years, things go out of date really fast. And I don't know what type of chemicals we put into the bread or into the food that make it last for as long as it does. But it's something that makes me think, like, what on earth are we eating? What are we eating? And I just noticed this, not just with bread, but with so many different types of foods. Another thing that I've noticed since moving back is just the polarization with the politics. And like when we lived in the UK, obviously you have your political parties, but no one really identifies with the political party that they're associated with, unless you're just like some hard right-wing or left-wing person. But here, it's just so different. We treat our politics, honestly, as if they're football teams. And, I'm Team Republican or I'm Team Democrat. And people not wanting to work together. And people like literally judging each other based off of your political affiliation. And that's crazy. Like, this is not normal. And it's crazy because people don't see it, or maybe they do, but this is something that really sticks out to me and really kind of blows my mind. And I don't know 15 years ago if it was like this. Maybe I was too young to even care. But it is something that I most certainly notice now, and it is shocking. Another key thing that I've noticed like right away, and that is advertisements. Everything in this country is for sale. Everything. And that's shocking to me. I had read a report that we're advertised in this country, at least we see on average 2,000 to 3,000 advertisements a day, and I believe it. Everything. And I love American football, and I watch it with my buddies, and you cannot watch a game of football without seeing, it feels like hundreds of advertisements. Obviously the commercials, but also like, this field goal was brought to you by Allstate. Like the Allstate pylon cam, everything is an advertisement. And living abroad and living overseas has made me like hypersensitive to it. I see it all the time, and it absolutely drives me crazy. And it just feels like everything's for sale here. Like you see it constantly, and that's something that is really hard to really come to grips with. And I don't know what it's doing to our psychology of just constantly seeing these advertisements, but it is there. It is absolutely there. Cost of living, massive issue. And I don't know if this is an American problem. I think the cost of living has just risen across the world, especially the Western world. I have friends in the UK who are struggling to make ends meet. But since moving back, it has been extremely difficult to make ends meet, even with good salaries. Both my wife and I are teachers. Well, she's a principal, and I teach psychology. And this is I taught politics abroad for 15 years. So, but even with good salaries, it's still hard to make ends meet. And principals get paid well, so it's not like we're struggling on that regard. But every single month, it's just stressed out by the end of the month. Like, do we have enough? Like right now, stressed out. And I know there's things that we could do to make things a little bit easier, but this is the reality that we face. And this is just the unwanted stress that brings. And then you look at so many unforeseen costs, your insurance, car payments, healthcare, obviously. Food is outrageous expensive. It doesn't help that I live in California. Of all the places in this country to go to, California may be one of the worst when it comes to cost of living, especially housing. We do get this beautiful sunshine behind us, but still it's very, very difficult. And I think one of the final things that I want to discuss about living abroad for so long and then moving back is the culture shock. And this is where, living abroad just changes how you think. You're exposed to so many different worldviews and cultures and mindsets. And even if you fight against it, you can't help but change the way you see the world. And it's exactly what's happened to me. And moving back, I don't quite feel American. But I don't feel foreign either, and it's a really weird headspace to live in. I've heard it termed third culture, to where you don't quite fit in anywhere. And yeah, I've had a wonderful opportunity and wonderful experiences, but adjusting to this culture, it's just been harder than I thought. I thought I was going to be able to get back into the US and pick up where things left off 15 years ago. And I know that was silly and naive, but it has been quite the challenge, to say the least. The intent of this video is not to badmouth or smash the US. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to share my experiences of moving back home after being abroad for so long. There's wonderful things, and it's hard to complain when you live here in California. I mean, look at the sunshine. Half the country right now is getting blasted with snow, rain, and ice, and I'm walking around in just a hoodie and a little vest and looking at the beautiful sunshine. I mean, life's pretty good, but still, I just didn't know I would experience so many challenges of being back in the US and the culture shock. And hopefully I adjust. And I know this takes time, but the proof is in the pudding. Let's see. Let me know what you think. If you've lived abroad and moved back, what were some of the challenges that you experienced? Can you relate? Are there different challenges? Did you jump back in smoothly? And did you want to go back out again? Because that's the question I'm constantly asking myself, is should we move back abroad? Especially the way things are going now. But I won't go into that. But yeah, let me know. Put your comments down at the bottom. Let's build this community of people who've kind of find themselves in between places and don't really belong anywhere. Live this nomadic lifestyle.